Our next question was sent in via email, thecornydrivethrough@gmail.com from Chad Lee. One of the wrestlers that lit a passion for me years ago was Jake Roberts. I fell in love with snakes because of him. Do you have any stories of how the guys interacted with Damien backstage? Whose idea was the snake? How was Damien cared for on the road? Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Well, first of all, it was Vince's idea because, the British Bulldog had a dog and Coco Beware had the bird, and why not have the fucking snake? It was a goddamn whole zoo up there at that time. And because Jake's demeanor and the way that he talked and that evil, insidious laugh and the whole nine, he reminded you of a snake. And even when he was young and lean, his body, and he had that knee lift and the way he moved around and slithered around the ring. So that was a no-brainer. Fuck Damien. I've told the story about fucking, when they tried to handcuff me to the rope and to put Damien on me, and I'd seen it coming and I'd fucking arranged for my escape from the handcuffs. But the thing is, one time Savio, when they brought Jake back in 96, right? I'm standing there at the entranceway at a Raw taping. And Savio, merry prankster he is, had gone into the fucking bag that they kept the snake in and had it around his shoulders and walked up behind me and put his arm around my shoulder, or what I thought was his arm, until I saw it was that fucking snake. I jumped. I threw one of the fucking light fixtures at him. It was like a $500 light fixture I found out later. I did not pay for it because fuck it. I tossed that at him. I went fucking berserk. I didn't want the thing anywhere around, and somebody was always trying. Bulldog would try to hook you and fucking force you into the goddamn room that the snake was in. Somebody was always playing around. I didn't want the thing anywhere around. But the one time that I traveled with the snake, as far as how was it handled backstage, me and Jake in my rental car, he asked for a ride from where was it, Dallas to Houston, somewhere in Texas. I think it was Dallas to Houston after a TV taping for the next one. And I said, the snake has to go in the trunk. He said, I don't care. He puts it in a big canvas bag. The bag he brought it out to the ring with was what he carried it in. And he fucking puts it in the trunk with the bags, right? And I'm like, okay, we drive 4 hours to fucking Houston. I love animals, but I could give a fuck about a snake. So I didn't check on it. If it had been Harley Quinn, she'd have been riding up front. Jake would have been in the trunk. But since it was a fucking snake. Anyway, we get there and we're checking in. And they've still got a bellhop at this, like the Intercontinental Hotel, Airport Hotel in Houston or whatever. A bellhop's still on duty. He's got a cart because Jake's got the big wrestler body bag and then another bag, and I've got a couple bags because I'm on the road, and he's got this snake bag. Well, as the bellhop is putting all the stuff on the cart, he gets the canvas snake bag. He doesn't know what's in it, and he sets it on top of one of the other bags. Then he turns his back to get something else out of the trunk, and that snake starts moving because it's been jostled. And the canvas bag falls off onto the fucking parking lot, onto the pavement. And the bellhop, oh, I'm sorry, sir, like he's dropped some of our valuable possessions. And he puts it back up and turns his back again. The same fucking thing happens. I said, fuck, I'm going in to check in. I just grabbed my bags and I carried them in. I said, I don't know when this guy's going to find out what he's handling, and I don't want to be there. And Jake and the fucking cart and the snake and the bellhop went on. But it made me very, very uncomfortable.
When I was at Sony, I worked with a guy. I'm not going to use his full name here because I don't know if he would want it out there, but let's just call him Jimmy.
You just got to call him Jimmy. Okay.
His name was Jimmy. And when I was at Sony,
Jimmy!
He worked across the street. I was at 550 Madison Avenue. He was across the street. We had extra offices we rented over there, and he ran the photo studio. And in the 1980s, he had been one of the animal wranglers for the WWF. He had been on the road with them during the wildest of the wild years.
Oh, my God.
And he told me that Jake was popular because no one at the airports wanted to go near the snake, so he would carry everyone's cocaine in a coffee canister that he would put in the bag with Damien, and Damien would wrap himself around the coffee canister. That way, they knew they can get the drugs from one town to another, and then as soon as you get off the plane, everyone would be like lined up waiting for Jake because he had everyone's gimmicks. So... And that's the nicest thing I've heard about his treatment of Damien on the road, quite frankly. But yeah, I got that firsthand from the person who was.
I don't know if I'd travel on the road with Jake if I was a human, much less an animal that had to be cared for.
How many snakes has he killed?
I know nothing. I was not around most of it. I was around it very briefly, and I don't have any knowledge of anything on a first-hand basis.
All right.
I would imagine with that schedule, you went through a few. That schedule would kill people,
Yeah.
even if they were being cared for.